What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Grow Your Impact, Income, and Influence, the #1 show for reaching millions of people. Today, I have an amazing guest that is going to teach us the ins and outs of using video, how to just take your cell phone and create amazing short videos that lead people naturally to a sale. I know you're going to be a big fan of that. Andrew, things didn't start there for you, though. They started all the way back.
Yeah, there was a time when, we would use real video cameras and we would say to ourselves, someday, we're going to be obsolete. And that time was somewhere in 2019.
So I bought, side note, way back when skateboarding was cool, I bought a digital camcorder that I could hold in my hand to film skate videos, $1,500.
Oh yeah, easy. It was probably the Canon, right? With the little arch like halfway through it and the handle.
Yeah, yep.
Same one we had.
Yeah. Anyway, so take us back to where all this started, because one doesn't just wake up one day and be like, I'm really good on video. Where did all of this start for you?
Yeah. Well, so I, one of the places to pick up the story is I was selling cars. I was kind of a lifelong salesperson. I had sold toys door to door. I had sold cars. I had sold cars on the road from state to state. And I started to notice that video, everybody was kind of a buzzword of video. And I had grown up doing video, but didn't find that to be very profitable. It was just something we liked to do. And I started to realize that very rarely would you find a video person and a salesperson in the same body at the same time. A lot of videos you'd see, kids coming out of film school even, were just poorly made music videos, just flash, pan, strobe, flash, smash cut, pan. And, they didn't actually know how to sell. And most people aren't very good at selling. So I arrived at sort of a point where I had done the door-to-door sales using the impulse factors and using law of averages and really learning how to fill a pipeline and how to use short motivational statements to move someone, through a sales process. Because you don't walk up and go, do you want to buy this, coloring book set? You kind of manipulate them through this sales process and they become ever more likely to buy as they drop through the steps. So it gave me a very unique process-based, law of averages-based approach to sales. And then when it came time to go, wait a minute, so there's this huge gap in just people who know how to make videos that sell. And here I know all these car dealers and all these people who own big businesses, and they have no idea how to motivate somebody. They're making videos that are fun, cheeky, and a guy rapping about a Ford Fiesta, but they don't actually know how to build on an idea, build a premise, and sell through on it, and then give someone the call to action, tell them what to do. So simply by taking salespeople and putting them on, like some people, like friends of mine, they film like sports cars, and that's their niche, or scenes or whatever. We just got good at filming salespeople, and it blew up. We went from just my brother and I to 8 or 10 employees, to relationships with everyone in auto and speaking in the industry, and it became like a whole decade of my life.
I mean, that's a pretty awesome arc. Like started off selling a lot, like selling, but then like mixed the video stuff. So first off,
I actually realized one was more valuable than the other, which was what was crazy, because one of the things you learn as you learn more about life and the way things work is what's valuable is what's rare. So even like business owners, I bump into them a lot of times, and they're good at what they do, but they don't realize that the rare part of what they do is only one piece of their whole pie, and they should really just focus on that because that's the valuable bit. But I was starting to realize that, at the time people were so hot for video, there was such a low demand, there was such a low availability. Even if you wanted to get a video, it'd be bad. It wouldn't be salesy. So yeah, we learned to lean in, not on the thing I was even best at, because we were terrible at it in the beginning, but just the thing that would be the most valuable to the market because it was rare. It was the white stag wandering through the UK, if you will.
Well, I mean,
sorry, that was a meme I just saw. That was a pretty obscure reference.
It's all good.
Albino stag.
I mean, you just touched on one of the best things. I think a lot of people, even now, are scared to be on video, scared to be on stage. I teach people how to speak on stages. They're scared because they think they have to be perfect. The people who are making, the Fiesta rap video or any of the other videos might have had a better video, but they didn't have any sales piece in it. They didn't have the CTA. They didn't have anyone doing anything. So my question would be, is it important video quality, how you edit it, or is it more important to have a good sales message that builds rapport and moves people along those steps? If there was one over the
Well,
other,
I'm gonna have to answer your question with a redirect,
Okay.
because the proper answer is conditional, and it would matter which type of content you're making, which type of video you're making. So the right question to ask is, why am I making this video? And for almost everyone who's made videos and either maybe they didn't stick it out, but if they stuck it out and it didn't work, it's mainly because they were just had a really bad plan. I've went to, clients of ours, and they've got a guy on the lot who every single car that comes in, he shoots a full video walk around at this car, and puts it on like a channel. That's enough effort to dominate. Like, we can serve those ads. If he makes one about a certain kind of car to everyone who's shopping for that car from the site, we can really, but he's just posting it on a YouTube. He doesn't really have a plan. So he doesn't really know what is the format for this video. How long should it be? What's the slot? So the thing that business owners need to do, and this is sort of like our course is a lot based on helping them build this roadmap, is say, what videos would have functional places in my business, like a thank you thing for my CRM or, whatever. Here's the videos I need, and here's where they need to go so that they're like parts on a car. And once you have that, then you can start to assess what's the right way to build this part. Is this a social part? And part of that is they're going to determine, is it widescreen? Is it tall? Is it square? Is it 30 seconds long? Does it have music? Does it have titles? One of the things we learned is we were making 30 to 2 minute long widescreen videos, very highly produced. They were like a walk around on every model from a manufacturer like Ford. And we would digitally brand the license plate on the car so that it looked like it was your car. When a customer got it, they'd be the only one using that series there. And we made a bunch of other really high quality stuff. Really, it was salesy, but it's very well made. Well, we started to learn sometime in like 2016. Oh, wow, people don't like this. We're trying to use this stuff on Facebook, Instagram, use it on different platforms, and they like it. I mean, they like it better than not having video. It performed great, but it got beat every single time by a dude holding a cell phone, just chatting, because it was too polished. So it was wrong for the format. And that's when we were starting to move into paid ads. Originally, our clients were buying these videos and they're just placing them on their website. So we were doing the right thing. We're giving them high quality, widescreen. That's right for that format. So yeah, to answer your question, that is a different question for every potential video destination, whether you're building it to go out in emails, whether you're building it as a reactive ad, whether you're building it as a proactive ad, whether you're building it as part of a CRM response kit, whether it's something that lives on your phone to be sent to a prospect, whether or not it's part of your website experience. And so understanding that video is just the ability to get you in front of the customer. It's not a magic trick. It's not, it doesn't do anything other than transport your facial expression and voice, inflection and everything to them. So once you realize that, then it's just going, what's the customer sales process digitally through my business look like? Where are they? Where are the hallways where they're convening? What are the turnstiles they're passing through? And how do I merchandise those areas with video?
That is a really, really good answer. To anyone listening, I just want to point out that although Andrew was already the category king and he was crushing it in the car sales video niche, he still tested. Like, one of the biggest things that I tell anyone that comes to me that's like, oh, it didn't work for me. Facebook ads didn't work, or speaking didn't work, or what. I'm like, did you test? Did you do it more than once?
People have this grandiose sense of themselves, right? Like maybe their inclination of what's good is somehow more valuable than someone else's. I say to clients all the time, they're like, this is stupid. This feels like it shouldn't work. And I go, I know, I agree. I can't figure out why it works either, because it's not on me to find the good ideas. It's on me to find good, smart A/B testing and follow the data.
That's exactly right. I mean, that makes me trust you. Anyone who tells me that they have an answer.
Yeah, anyone who's sure of anything, you shouldn't listen to, because that certainty is coming from a place of ignorance. We had a dealer one time. His slogan was, it was actually a really, really good guy. Does a lot for his community. All-Star Jeep Dodge Chrysler Ram in St. Louis, and his thing was All-Star saves you money. And he was kind of a secondary finance store, and so he threw cash in the air back in the day on the TV or whatever, right? So I'm building his ads, and I would normally never write copy like client name saves you money, right? With cash emoticons on either side. But it was part of his brand, so I did it. And I have no idea why, but this ad crushed every time. I'd write 5, 6 other variations. I'd try other stuff. Every time All-Star saves you money would crush. And so I'm like, damn it, I didn't want this to be true. Just like I didn't want shorthand videos to be better than my high quality videos, because that was a high bar that only I was getting over. And now nobody was going to need to go down that road, to follow me. And so I tried it on a few other accounts of mine, like Auburn Volkswagen, that's not about price and would never want me to say anything about price, but also wants me to play the best performing ads. So I just wrote Auburn Volkswagen saves you money and put the same stupid little emoticons up there. Sure enough, crush. And so it just turns out there's something in people's mind where they like, just don't get into the weeds, just say who you are and tell me you're going to save me money and I'll react. And so to this day, that copy, we pull it in and out all the time. And it's really hard to find. We've not really written anything that's beaten it.
Wow. I mean, that's a control test right there. I mean, I'm an old school marketing guy. Like I've studied like Gary Halbert and Ogilvy and like all the stuff. And seeing some of their ads still come up today, I'm like, that's 30 years old and that control is still winning.
Yep.
We're getting. And
that's one of the things that we know. This is the geekiest stuff. This is the best, because what you just said is the perfect segue, which is when you look at everything, the way to do video, the way to do digital commerce is you look back at things that have worked for a very long time and you figure out how they're being applied. Things haven't actually changed. The medium has. So like right. ClickFunnels is all the rage now. That's just a sales letter. That's just a formation of your introduction. I mean, it's exactly they transpose exactly evenly. So you're 100% right. Some of these things that were 50, 60 years old, they haven't gone away. They've found a way to be expressed on these new mediums. And so, for us, it's the thought that you can actually be digital and build a sales process. When I first meet the customer, show them this, then follow up on the second day with the product they looked at. On the third day, show them a testimonial about, and we can actually talk to them the way you would if they'd stepped inside a store, and you can break their interest down. But whether it's like that process sale for like a super sale environment, whether it's a style of ad or a catchphrase that used to work, or a concept like branding, like in the paper, we've noticed that like if we play these product related ads to people, they're not likely to buy on the first time. It's not like an impulse aisle at Walmart. But if I put the products in front of somebody, there's a certain saturation point where now they're kind of more familiar with it, so that's kind of like what Auto Trader used to do, right? They just put pamphlets on everybody's door and stand back. And it was a different kind of a saturation marketing. So it's like, yeah, when you're able to say my idea works because it's just like this old idea, and really do the nerd out. I mean, history's taught me, and I've found a way to use that lesson on this new medium type thing. That's when you're winning, because there is no reason to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to get the wheel to roll in a new platform.
Well, I mean, that's talking about Auto Trader. So I grew up, my dad and I, for shits and giggles on Saturdays and Sundays, would go kick tires, right? And we would he'd pick up the Auto Traders every week. He knew prices, he'd highlight stuff. And I can imagine going to a car lot now and giving them your intro, right? And saying it's just like Auto Trader, except we've broken it down to do it through video. They know exactly what that means. They get it right away. And they're like, if that's true, I'll spend any amount of money you want, because Auto Trader, I think it's still around, but it's not nearly.
Well, and not only that, but most of these companies, they have products. I mean, most of your listeners are business owners. They have products, whether those are digital coaching products or hats or chiropractor appointments or whatever it may be, right? So what we're doing is not just video, we're actually doing product sets. And so what type of product you're interested in is now in the set. So just to use an example, if you sell multiple kinds of like hair cream, lotion, stuff like that, you can break those into product sets. So the videos aren't just videos, they're videos introducing certain products and saying these products are great. And then below them are those products for sale. That's a store. And if people understand how to combine the things that are in the Facebook, Instagram toolkit and use them to create a sales experience and not just an ad that goes, you want to buy some hair cream? All right. And they understand how to kind of build a funnel, build a flow, and really combine video with product sets, which are always very, I'm not going to say they're very easy. They weren't easy when I got started, but they're also not hard, like Spanish or anything else. Once you know it, you couldn't imagine not knowing it. It's not hard. And if you have a business that sells products and you haven't investigated how to build product catalogs in Facebook and then present those catalogs individually to people and find your audience for each product style and product line, you're missing the boat. And then when you have something like that, you're able to go get testimonials for each product. And guess where that goes, in that product set, ad set thing. And you literally kind of just build out little thought processes around all your products. And I mean, it's a month and a half worth of work, and it would fundamentally change the way people run their business and grow their business, more importantly.
Are you enjoying this episode? Do you want to know how you can tell better stories and use story selling in your business? Check the description down below for my free story selling course. This blueprint gives you everything you need to start using story selling in your business. All right, let's jump back to the episode. Well, I mean, you're preaching to the choir, but the thing that I want to point out to anyone listening, if you didn't catch what Andrew just pointed out so well, it's not about the tactic. It's about the strategy behind the tactic. Having the right strategy and laying out those pieces lets you know where you need to use the tactic to get the result that you want. Specifically, I want to ask you about testimonials, because that's one of the things that I teach. I'm like, if you don't have a funnel that takes people and shows people testimonials and seeds different outcomes, people don't know what they're getting. So how do you do that in the car world?
Well, in the car world, we coach a lot of our clients. In fact, the course that we developed was actually stuff that I've just been saying to people for the last year, personally coaching them as employees of the clients. And one of the things that happens, the two major risks that you have, you're long-winded, you lose my attention, I'm done. You come off as self-serving. So the point of me watching this isn't to learn something of any substance. It's just to hear how great you are. So you have to come in without those two things being noticed, you know? And so what we coach people on is just very simple. It's 3 questions, especially for a car. Car is very easy because you're always there with the person. Car sits in the background. So we show them how to walk. For one, walk a little bit away from the product so that it's over your shoulder in the background. Further you get from something, the smaller it gets. Stand with the other person right there in the frame. Hold the phone yourself, you know, so that you're close to the microphone. These phones are designed to rule out background noise and include in, you know, foreground noise. So if you're too far away from the phone, it's actually filtering you out. It's working against you rather than working for you. So keep the phone close to your face, keep the person right by your side, and just ask 3 questions. Hey, I'm here with Janet. Janet bought a Honda Accord today. Janet, what's your favorite part of the Accord? Janet starts talking because it's an easy prompt. She's there for the product. She doesn't really care about you. Now, me, the listener, I think I'm going to hear something about the Accord. I got there in 3 seconds. Now Janet's talking, so I'm going to hear how she sounds. So you're getting me through that first bump, right? Oh, I love the Accord. Back seat's nice power. If she says something great, maybe ask about it. So what do we like about the power? Okay, so that's the first question. Second question is, then you make eye contact the first time and say, and then how did I do? And that's the first time it gets corny, but you get it out in 2 syllables, right? How did I do? And she goes, oh, you did great. Fantastic job. Great listener. Boom. Then you say, if somebody else was in the market for an Accord or even a sedan, who would you tell them to come see? So, you know, in this way, the thing always comes out 35 seconds long. I've attached it to a product. So there's a place for it to go in my funnel. I've had them speak about me and what the process is that somebody can expect. Hopefully that pushes a button somewhere. That's a concern somebody had. And then I have her, instead of me, tell them what to do about them being in the same situation she is. Oh, definitely come see Bobby. He's the best, right? So you can do that with pretty much any product. You know, tell me about the product you buy. What's your favorite part of it? Not why'd you buy it or whatever. Just tell me what you enjoy about the product. And then boom. And then how was the shopping experience? Or how did I do? Or how was our store for you? Oh, it functioned great, easy, quick shipping. Great. So even if you got somebody on like a Zoom like this and you shot your testimonials this way, I don't want to hear a 2-minute, 3-minute testimonial. And you also don't want to hear these long sentences. You just want to hear, boom, great, fast, it's fun. Oh, you did great, really good listener. Oh, definitely, come see Mark, he's great. That's it. That's all I really want to know, but I want to hear it from different people, to your point. I want to be able to go to one point, like a website, or have you serve them all to me as ads. And I want to hear 5 or 6 people echo essentially the same sentiment about you, but it's got to be fast. I don't need to hear them say lots of things. I just want to hear them kind of map you and say the same thing over and over again about you. And so anyways, keep it short. And a way to avoid being self-serving is never start off with how did I do? Product, what did you like about the product? What did you like about the sales experience, or like about me? What would you tell somebody who is in the same shoes you're in, and what should they do?
That's awesome. I mean, you just gave like a mini masterclass on testimonials. I like the stuff I use is slightly different because it's coaching, but it's basically the same. It's 3 questions, get it done fast.
You could say the same. What's your favorite part of the course? What was the part that you enjoyed the most or got the most value from?
What got the outcome?
Great. And how was the course? Did it fit? Did it work for your lifestyle? Oh, it's great. Easy to do. Great. You know what I mean? If somebody else was looking to grow their, whatever, what would you recommend they do? You don't say, would you recommend my course? You say, what would you recommend they do? Because the syntax will force them to say they should go and sign up for your course or whatever, That's
awesome. Man, like, you have a wealth of information. So I want to pivot just a little bit, because I'm sure there are people listening to this and they're like, well, how do I use video? Because I've told people for a long time, you have to use video. It's easy. People want to hear your tone. They want to see your face. So many people get hung up with like the technical aspects. So you're telling people they can use their phone. Is that, if that's the only thing they have?
I'm saying I had $80,000 worth of camera equipment. I had 12 employees, and I learned that me standing there with my cell phone produced a more functional video that people would consume more of, that would take more motivated actions because of, and would bounce from less frequently by going no music. If there's any editing, it's the sort of editing, just trimming, that you could do on a phone, and having it be a little rough. And so we learned that, like, imagine that you're selling, like, you know, ping pong balls, or, this is a horrible analogy, but you find out there's no need for ping pong balls in the world anymore, and you've got $1 million company making ping pong balls. I mean, this was not a revelation that I was fond of, and we knew it for a year. I didn't do anything about it. It was like getting a diagnosis you're not real fond of, like, oh man, the world's going to change soon, and you're going to be able to make better stuff with a phone than people think. Like, it's going to get better than they assume it is. You know what I mean? And then, so you're going to have competition that had no budget. And that was like the first thing we were worried about. But the thing that I kept having on my mind is, how am I going to be the best at this? Great. Anyone can do it. Fine. You know, you find out you have a private school education and you're in a lucky spot, you know, and you find out, nope, everybody can play. You're like, so you either shrink from that factor, you go, well, how am I still going to be the best? And so for me, what it came down to was sort of leveling the playing field with some basic production techniques, which we outline in the course, just how to light a shot, how to frame, get people in the right spot based on aspect ratios, you know, how to build 3x scripts that are easy to perform, easy to write, and actually motivate people, you know, how to go over and make a video, and how to hold the actual phone so you function as the tripod. So this way, when you look at the video, you don't hate it. That's the first step. And then it's just getting them to make enough of them. But that really is the thing. You mentioned something earlier about people acting odd about getting in front of the camera. This is like a leftover impulse from like the 1910, era, when if you had a stupid looking hat on or a pair of overalls that were your brother's that day, and somebody snapped a photo of you, people thought you liked stupid hats or pants that didn't fit, because that was the only picture of you that existed, right? Your kids, like, you knew it was going to be at your funeral because it was one of 3 pictures taken of you. So I'm sort of at a spot where I take so much video. Look at how terrible my hair is. So I'm not concerned somebody's going to say, oh, he's got terrible hair. There's tons of video of me out there. They're going to say he's having a bad hair day, which is very different. And so the idea is to get over that. Oh God, I don't look great. Well, we've said this to sales guys we've been training, and he said, well, I got to say, I'm just too ugly for video, and we're in a big thing. I said, well, I got to tell you, man, if you really believe that, you might need to go home, because you might be too ugly just to talk to a customer in general. Like, I don't know if you know this, but we can see you. It's like the video is not the one to blame. It's just showing you. And so it allows you to groom. I have a real bad habit of adjusting my shoulder like this. And I noticed it on video. And now I've tried to like rinse it out of my personality. I'm like adjusting my shirt or something. It's like a nervous tick I noticed on video. And so people find these things. They look at the video. There's things about themselves they don't like. But the idea is that it gives you a way to go and correct and address everything you see that you don't like. And so video is one of the unique things that just doing it is the reason to do it, just to get better at it, just to understand that this is a core competency that matters. So to answer your question, when things started turning and we're like, what are we doing? The answer was, we're gonna set up a baseline of things that make the video not look terrible. And then we're gonna focus on training people how to deliver the messaging while they're in front of the camera that matters. Because imagine you're a sales guy leaving voicemails, and that's like the way you're able to get to people is leaving voicemails. That's all the video is. So we want to make sure that voicemail is slamming. People have the tools to create a script based on whatever they want to sell, and they know how to quickly get in front of the camera and make a quick plan and just say it, and not invest more than 4 or 5 minutes on a piece of content. If you want to say happy birthday to everyone in your funnel, I mean, you could just make a message like that and then it'll serve on its own. So it's like being able to lower the bar so that a video doesn't seem like a big deal. Another sidebar story for you here. We have a client that said, I just can't get these guys to do the videos. I don't understand. And I said, well, dude, they respect you. They would do pretty much anything else you said. Like, let me ask you this. If you asked them all to go move 10 cars, sweep underneath them, would they have done it? And he goes, oh yeah. Okay. So what that tells us is that they actually think making one video is more of a challenge, more of an ask personally than sweeping underneath 10 cars. So we don't need to ask them for more effort. What we need to do is show them that it's actually, there's nothing there. There's nothing to expense yourself about. The juice is worth the squeeze. You know, if you'll go move 10 cars and take 30 minutes doing that, this takes 1/10 the time and you don't even got to go outside. So for most people, it's the same problem. They need to eliminate the concern of doing a video. If you're going to do a video, you should get nervous 3 seconds before you hit record, not the night before. And so for most people, you know, it's just a little bit of exposure to seeing themselves, hating it, correcting it, doing it, and understanding that as I'm doing this, I'm functionally getting better every day. Like my daughter swimming, she never regresses. Every day she's a little better, you know? Well, video is one of the few things that's like that. So you just have to lean in and understand what a valuable skill it is. And then once you have it in your pocket, then you'll see that video is a solution for so many problems.
So many problems. When Facebook Live was first getting going, like 16, 17, I taught people how to do Facebook Lives. And I had a lady, she sent me this email and she's like, I hate you. I've been staring at my camera for 8 hours. I have the script. I know what I'm going to say and I can't do it. And then she did it the next day and now she does it all the time. But it really is just getting like exactly what you said. Take the first baby step, get it done. Know that you're not going to be that great, but know that you're going to get a little bit better. And before you know it, it'll be perfect. It'll be like something you don't even know is there.
We use the artillery reference a lot with our clients and in our training. I don't know if you can see, I have a big brass giant bullet back here, but this is from a 105 millimeter howitzer. This is what I did when I was in the military. We always try to remind people that, you know, all these people living in the desert, our job was never to shoot the round where it was supposed to go on the first try. Our job was to put a round out there and somebody else would go adjust 50 up, left, right, you know, and you'd make slight adjustments and get on center that way. And a lot of times, like you said, people don't want to fire the shot because they're not convinced it's going to land in the circle. Let me break the ice for you. It's not supposed to, and that's fine. And you have to go into it realizing that just because you made a video, it doesn't commit you to showing it to anybody, at least not the whole thing. Clip out the 5 minutes you can stand or the 30 seconds or take a screenshot where you smiled in a way you didn't hate or just throw it away. But at the end of the day, it is your job if you want to be successful to understand that you're not going to go out there, you know, you throw the first pitch at the Yankees. You know, they warm up behind the scenes, right? They go to the pitcher's mound, they throw a few. Take that time for yourself and get used to seeing what you see in front of the camera. And you're going to go, you know what do I hate about this? Well, the background is a little this, but could I move that? Could I come up with the light source there? Could I cut my hair different? Should I wear a shirt that's not as shiny? Whatever the hell it is that you hated about the video, just do it again and try to touch on that a little bit. And what ends up happening is, you know, the old thing about like you bring in a college quarterback to the NFL and everything's like, you know, and in the beginning, the only thing that they're worried about is like literally not getting their feet caught on the center. They're not seeing their girlfriend in the crowd. She's a mile away. You know, they're not reading the defense. And then things start to slow down if you've done it a few times. And when we first start getting in front of the camera, like that lady you're describing, she has 37 of her own voices yelling at her while she's calmly staring at the camera. You know, do it, don't do it. You're going to sound stupid. And they're all arguing. It's Herman's head if it was a bar, right? And so over time, those nervousnesses start to evaporate when you've done a thing more than 10 times, or when a thing's went wrong you were afraid of and you realize, well, that didn't hurt me, I just redid it, you know. Like, so over time, you know, like people are afraid of spiders, they just keep shoving spiders in their face. Over time you realize, what the hell am I don't need a higher heart rate to make a video. This is not a big deal. And it's kind of getting to that plateau that allows you to design the rest of your, you know, creative out what else you do well on a video, because that's when your mind is calm enough to just do the performance and not be so busy thinking about the video and holding the camera, you know, and trying to make sure you're in the frame or whatever. It's like once all that stuff is second nature, then you can focus on literally just being a voicemail with a smile.
That's awesome. I mean, I agree. I have a question that this kind of points to. I would just love your thoughts on it. So Dan Kennedy, first mentor I ever had, 2013, he told me, because I had a whole bunch of those voices in my head, right? That whole discussion going. And he was like, the amount of money that you make is directly related to how little you care about what anyone thinks about you. And you just do the stuff. You do what you're here to do. I still have struggles with that every time I'm outside of my comfort zone, right? But my comfort zone over the years has grown. What is a tip or a tactic or a conversation or something that you do or you would tell your clients to do, whether it's video or whether it's something else, to get on the other side of those voices, to get out of the seeking approval?
This one's easy. This one's very, very easy. So when I was young selling toys, there was a guy that I sold toys with us. And when I didn't know what to do as a 17-year-old kid, I would say, what would Quincy do? And because Quincy, he'd walk right up to her, give her his number. Like it became like a what would Jesus do? It's like an avatar in my mind where when I was out of decisions, I just gave up the decision stick and handed it to an imaginary person, let them make the decision. And I would, I would, it was an easy way to impart whatever confidence I didn't have, but I knew someone that did onto me, get it to become part of my decision-making chain. Over time, I started to realize that the real way to do this, and this is the real advice, is to say, what would 30-year-old me wish I did? Now that I'm 38, I'm like, what would 50-year-old me wish I did? So that's on every decision I have. Now this is the North Star that rules my life. What do I eat? I'm like looking at the candy bar. I'm looking at, well, 50-year-old me is going to say, I don't care at all about some sugar in the mouth. Let's stay healthy. And so whether it's a minute decision or whatever, the ability to make decisions from the perspective of a future you, what will I wake up tomorrow and go, damn, I'm glad. Like one of our jokes we have internally in the company is we always say like, thanks past Dave. Like my director of operations is Dave. And I can't tell you how many times a day we say thanks past Dave, because we'll find something named already for us or in a folder or neatly ready for next month when we go back to look for it. We're like, oh, I feel like we've been here before, and set the T for ourselves. So yeah, when you that and fully understand why you're doing video, try to understand the real goal and what you hope to achieve by it. When the juice is worth the squeeze, the behavior is always easier to patternize and get yourself to do. But yeah, those are the two pieces is take care of future you and make sure that you understand that you might be nervous now, but in a decade, like, they said Columbus, you move the ship 10 degrees, you land in Mexico. Understand that you're picking your path right now, and future you will not have any regard for vanity or ego of current you. It's like those are if you think back of yourself 5-6 years ago, that person's always a foolish idiot, and you don't have any regard for their comfort, right? It's like, just get it done. So impart that sort of logic in the moment, realizing there is a future you that will exist, and just let them make the decisions once in a while.
Awesome. I think that is great advice. Okay, so I want to jump into kind of the technical stuff just a little bit, because I think people are going to ask. So use your phone. External mic, yes, no, does it matter?
No, and one of the mistakes that you'll see people make all the time, in the training, we call it the Grand Canyon effect, is whatever they're filming, they're like, go, like go for a pass, go deep, and the person they're taking a picture of is, I can see 4 feet below their feet, 4 feet above their head, and they're, so part of it is when you frame somebody in a shot, they should be consuming at least 30% of the frame. So, and if it's vertical, probably more like 70% of the frame. So when we show we go into a lot of like framing and how to actually frame yourself. But so that's really way more important, is how you set it up and how you, use the shot, than it is anything else.
Okay, got it. That's good. And then, so we've talked about vertical and we've talked about horizontal. Landscape, vertical, square. If you had to pick one, just to make it easy for somebody getting started, what do you think's the best? What do you think they should do?
I think if you're going to use this as an ad, and you really should learn how to build simple video content and run it as an ad, targeted ad for your business. But if you're not running it as an ad, then there really is no reason to avoid just regular widescreen. One of the things we teach in the training, again, is a way to kind of hold the phone with your fingers on the back. It's kind of like the way you do the disappearing card trick if you're at all into magic. And so it gives you a brace on the phone, and we show people how to hold it at a right angle. So when you extend your arm all the way, you actually end up in the perfect spot. You become the tripod, and it follows you. You don't impart shake much on your own hand. And so really getting this technique down, this is the go-to video move. For people that follow me on Facebook, if you start arguing with me on Facebook, I will just pull the phone out and make you a 2-minute video response. I'm not going to sit here and type all day. And, and that, again, that's because I've gotten the bar down to where actually just doing this and pulling my phone out, walking away, finding some shade is easier. It takes less time. This isn't me people are always like, oh my God, you went out of your way, made me a video. It's like, I don't think you understand. That was the lazy thing to do. That was not me trying to impress anybody. So yeah, widescreen is the way to go, but also you don't need you don't need a tripod. You don't need anything like that. You need to really practice this grip that allows you to hold the phone securely, hold it away from your body. You're always looking back down your arm, And then I don't know if you can see me, for people who are just on the audio, I'm sort of making the letter T, like you would. I always tell people, imagine you're in the YMCA, but you're the letter T. If your arms are all the way out, then your camera ends up looking back down your arm and across your body. So rather than the background being behind you, which is sort of unmanageable, the background's actually off to your left. So it's anything you point at. So it gives you actually some screen space to kind of walk around. You can show off different products, or you can have a person there ready to do a testimonial. So that's really if this is karate, this is our base stance, is this widescreen with the grip, where you just pull the phone out. You can stop it with your thumb. It's all built perfectly, so you don't need any editing. And that's the way that you're going to use 80% of your videos. On email, widescreen's fine. CRM responses that are automated, which is essentially email, widescreen's fine. On your website, widescreen's fine. If you're using like a text service, to get a video to somebody, widescreen's fine. Really, the only time when you want to get outside of that is when you're trying to make an ad that you want to have play on different platforms. So like whether that be mobile or Instagram stories, then you want to look at maybe a square or a 4:5 vertical or a taller vertical, and that'll give you better placement. When you're really in the pro mode, you are filming like we are now with our cameras, trying to make it look like we did it on our phones, which imparting fake shake later. And the reason we do that is it allows us to capture a larger frame, and then we actually snip a vertical, a horizontal, and a square out of that. So that's sort of like the next level. And we take them all, but if you have to pick, go widescreen.
Okay, that is a great answer. The next thing I have is a little bit still saying in the tech side. If you're using it for email or text, how do you do that? When I email them, I upload them. I usually either do a Loom video if I'm on my desktop, or I shoot it on my phone and I will send it through Facebook. Or if it has to be email, I'll upload it to YouTube and then put the link. You have any hacks for that?
Well, it always depends, right? If you've set your site up really intelligently, then getting me to your site tells you that I went to my site with pixel information. So if it's me, I'm going to host a YouTube video on a landing page. I'm going to go into my web browser, ClickFunnels or whatever it is. I'm going to add a page, and I'm going to add the video there, even if it's a personalized video for you, so that I can track your visit and I can remarket you based on the fact that you watched the video. That's how I know you hit play, is that I see you show up on the page on my site, right? So I know you opened the email. So if I'm sending out an email blast of that video, now everyone who opened the blast, they're going to consume the video on my site. I'm going to be aware they did it. And this allows me to retarget them a day later and go, I know you saw the video. So and this way, this is that sort of conversational ad funnel that we're talking about. So it doesn't, I'm always wanting someone to watch a video, but what I really want to do is know they watched it, so that I can follow up and say something relevant to the fact that I know they watched it.
Got it.
For me, I would host it there. You also could do another really good trick to do is, like, just to give you an idea, you can hyperlink the video from Wistia or from YouTube or from anything like that. Take a screen grab of the video where it doesn't look like you're about to sneeze, and actually put a fake play button on it. Canva is an amazing free app. If you don't want to learn everything there is to know about Photoshop, you can actually put in a semi-transparent play button on the side as an asset. And then every time you do this, you just pull in the freeze frame and you put a fake play button over it. And that creates an image. So you pull the image into the email and you hyperlink it to the video. This way it feels like the video is right there in the email, but you can still get them on the redirect and tag them.
That is great advice. I do that quite a bit. So you talked about texting a little bit. When in the funnel, do you get to sending text to people with a video? Does that ever happen? Or is that like a very specific, like, follow-up clause?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily happen so much in my funnel. If you go to my website and you try to schedule an appointment with me, I now know you've been on that page. If you schedule an appointment, I go to a thank you page. So I now know you've been to that page, right? So if I get you on one page, but I don't see you on the other page, then I know you were there and didn't schedule. So you'll actually trigger a video that says, like, I'm about to tee off and I'm like, yo, what's going on? I saw you went to my page, but you didn't book anything. You're just being nosy, trying to figure out when I'm golfing. No, but for real, I'd love to talk to you. So I like building all these little Easter eggs in. So if I get you to click once, this whole pre-realized conversation is just going to flow out of that experience. And you're going to feel like I'm texting you every day, just because the platform is built that way, right? So I don't really do a lot of texting. I mean, we've been really fortunate, and we started this company with nothing and built it during the most recent one here during a pandemic. And we've done it all with referrals. So most of my I haven't paid for any advertising or made any cold calls. So most of it is I get a text and it says, hey, Mark, this is Andrew. Andrew, this is Mark. Mark's trying, Andrew would be a great fit. He helped us. You should talk. So most of it has just been regular texting. And when I send those videos, it's just a flex to show him this guy really lives. He's walking the talk. Hey, Mark, can't wait to talk to you. And it's really just to show him, that I believe in what I'm doing. But it hasn't been instrumental, and I haven't used it to prospect or anything like that. It is a challenge to do, and the reason for that is SMS reduces the quality of it so much. You really almost need like a third party app, like a bomb or Quick Page or something like that. So whichever one of those you use, and what those do is basically build a URL that it can link it to, and it just does it quickly for you, right? So anyways, some combination of that. I don't use it a ton, but I do coach a lot of salespeople for our clients, and that's a daily part of their job. And our training also is how to make these sort of communicative videos while the sales thing is still going on. And most of it that we focus on is showing off the unique work that you're doing. So we have them go out with a folder. The folder already has their name on it. Anything they wrote in the email is written on the cover of the thing. And the thing isn't even about selling them the product. It's about selling them the experience. We focus on all the things we're going to do. Let me know when you're going to get here. I'm going to get it washed up. I'm going to get, whether you want me to get multiple ones pulled up, I've got a bow. If you want to throw a little thing, or I've had them hidden behind the back. So we just give them all these ideas of the experience that we could sell. But no, it hasn't been a big part of my business. But I think if you have clients that you can text and you're not going that extra mile to not just communicate with them about the purchase or the product, but about the process, and also to show them, like one of the rubs of the video we do with training is that they're sweating. I've walked 100 yards, Brenda, for you, and I would do it again. So that's a big part of what you're selling in the video is, your likability and your personal work ethic and the fact that you might be fun. So if you have an opportunity to get that in front of a customer, you got to do it.
I agree. I think that is awesome. I think that's, to your point that you mentioned way at the beginning of the interview, like fancy, really well edited, perfect video worked for television way back when, but now everybody feels like that's a fake thing. That's why they want to see the real video. They want to see somebody sweaty. They want to see somebody being real. And everyone's done so many FaceTime calls, especially during COVID. They're just used to that. That comes across as authentic versus the perfect.
Well, and the old style was like Ford Fiesta, $299 a month, and only, and if you're not into the Ford Fiesta, then you're like, who cares? So again, a big part of our training is to start with a problem. We call this the vanilla ice. If you got a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the hook. So Perfect. The idea is first you describe a problem or a premise, then you describe your unique workload or effort that goes into solving that problem, the thing that you uniquely do to help them avoid that consequence. And then you just tell them what action to take. So like I've had dealers that say things like, again, a lot of our clients are automotive, that say things like, one of our unique advantages is we don't pressure people. In other dealerships, they're hiding in the bushes, ready to jump out. We don't do that. Okay. He's like, so how do I turn that into a video? And right out of the algorithm in our training, it's first you create the problem. So right now, all you've given me is a solution. So what is the problem to that solution? So then the ad comes out, problem, solution, call to action. Right now, customers have more choice than ever. They can buy a car any way that they want to buy a car. But one thing customers don't want is to be hounded the moment they step out of their car. Boom. So that's our problem premise, right? But here at Peoria's Volkswagen, we don't do that. We never pressure our customers, and we let you take the time to decide how you want to buy your next vehicle. Boom. Solution, unique solution. So if you're in the market for a car and you want a stress-free experience without all the pressure, then come see us or click on the link below. So it's like this same formula works, and it makes for a more consumable video that it starts off not with like what we were saying about this TV broadcast message where it's just sort of like, here's the product and you can purchase the product. Instead, every ad has to be, there's a problem that exists. And with our unique approach and this unique quality of the product, you won't have that problem anymore. So if you're tired of that problem, then come buy the thing or click the thing or watch the thing. And if you really just follow that, not only is it make an ad that's consumable, 3X structure, it actually works as a sales video. It's easy to write. You can back up any problem and stuff it into that formula. But what's really important is it's easy to perform. You're not memorizing 9 sentences. If you're a sales guy, by the time you spit out the problem, you already know what to do. So for like, your coaching, if you ever had, problems with growth and you just feel like what you're doing is not working. Now, anyone who's nodding is like a fish hitting the bobber. You got to do set the hook. You know what I mean? Well, with this training, so that methodology of speaking, problem, premise, and then call to action, that's as much as the format matters and ditching all the music and the graphics, ditching all the thing where I assume you care is the most important thing. I'm going to make you care in the beginning. And if I say you get tired of dog fur all over everything, and if your answer is no, all right, bet. See you next time, homie. Like I missed. But with targeted ads, I don't normally miss. I know something before I pretend to ask it. But yeah, that really is the key, is ditching that format where we just sort of errantly talk about, $4.99, or you can get this, or this is how it works on your feet. And instead going, do you have bunions? Or, and someone goes, I do. Oh, wow. Glad I asked. But the reality is with targeting, I already knew that before so that to me is the more important format change, is getting the messaging right behind it and not just changing the way that it looks. But you see all the time that brands that just take their TV commercial and pump it on Facebook for a couple $1,000s and just stand back, and there's no remarketing. So if I'm watching the ad and I'm like, honey, this is amazing, there's still no like real follow, there's no way for me to interact in an ad in a way that cues the second or third ad.
Well, I mean, the remarketing stuff that's the main thing that I think makes the difference between success and not, because you're probably not going to get them the first time. You'll get some, but being able to do that over and over and put them through a funnel like that, that's kind of outside of the topic of conversation. The last question that I have for you, you alluded to it earlier when you were talking about, what would I want when I was 50? That's how I try to make decisions. If you could go back and tell yourself, you're 38, if you could go back to 25-year-old Andrew and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Buy up domains. They were only $7. People were like, I would have bought Amazon stock. You didn't have any money, homie. You still, it could have 10-drupled and you still don't, but there's websites for $7 like bestbuy.com before they thought of it. Every national corporation came around to that idea. But no, I think the more important thing that I wish that I would tell young people, if not myself, is if you want to make a lot of money, but you don't want to run a business, you want to own a business, the way to do that is to develop, if you have a core skill set now, develop a complementary skill set to that skill set. And sales can always be that one thing. If you like sewing and you know how to sell, baby, you're there. You got two things you can do. So now you can build a company around that. So think of a company, like especially a startup that I've been involved in several. You got 5 or 6 people. Think of it like a band or a bank robbery, right? You need a guy to play guitar. You need a guy to, you need the safe guy. You need the getaway driver. Everybody's got a role. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to focus 100% of your energy, like it's a race, on developing those two highly marketable skills that work in concert with each other. So a lot of my employees make, well over 6 figures. And it's because they actually do 2 different things for me that are valuable. I've got a guy who creates, video content, but he also manages the content. I have a guy who runs the whole data side of the business, but he also manages the Facebook ads and the communication side. I've got a guy who does all of our CTO work, but he also builds and writes ads. So anyways, whatever it is that you do, think about the complementary skill set that you don't have. Think about, if I was on my ideal team, right? Could I play forward and point guard? Because then I, as the coach or the owner of the team, I can pay, let's say I'm going to pay the point guard $100,000. I'm going to pay the forward $100,000. I can pay you $280 to play both. You know what I mean? Because I don't get the communication buffer. It's just you doing it. I can ask you to stay late. I don't got to train anybody else. So understand that value, again, back to something we talked about earlier, comes from scarcity, comes from being rare. And so if you can have a set of skills that you can't find in another person, and a person's dumb enough to let you in the door and let you start building value for them, don't worry about getting paid right away. Let them let you be part of their team. Do these 2 super important roles, for them, and then say, yo, I need to get paid after having produced the value. And that's one of those things where I see people, they're just so backwards. They're like, what can I get from an employer? Which ultimately that's the goal. Yes. But by allowing them to need you, you become more valuable. So like I always say, like if Mark Cuban ever called me and said, I want you to come be part of my team, he's like my star crush. The last thing I would ask him is, how much am I getting paid, Mark? I wouldn't care. It wouldn't even be the question. It's, what are you putting me in charge of? If you're going to make me the general manager of the Mavs, give me a year and then you're going to want to pay me, homie, because I'm going to kill it, right? But if so come in with that mindset of like, can I get responsibility instead of hours? Like I've had people who went in, negotiated really well for themselves and make a great living, but then they can't hold it down and they end up getting,
Right.
so to get valuable before you get paid, and double your skills up in one genre, and that's how you get there.
I think, okay, so that is great advice. 100% agree. Something that I will comment on, I mean, you and I both own businesses. We're entrepreneurs. We've built several things. And I think the skill set that you just talked about, not the skill set, the mindset, because I've talked to my brother-in-law, I've talked to people in my family, I've talked to friends who are all in that employee zone, right? And they're like, oh, there's no way I'm doing that. I have to get paid. I'm like, you're missing it. I think you touched on something that separates, successful entrepreneurs from, because we didn't get started because of a paycheck. We wanted money. We knew that we needed to do that, but we knew we needed the skills first, right?
Yeah.
We learned the skills.
Some people truly believe that value predicates pay, and other people, they don't believe there's a relationship there.
Yeah.
Like I said that to an employee one time, you get what you're worth. And he goes, no, you get what you asked for. And I was like, no, you get what you asked for if you're worth it. Like we could do this all day. Just keep hitting this tennis ball back and forth, but you can ask for whatever you want. The answer is going to be no, unless you've demonstrated to the business owner that you're going to provide more than you're getting paid. That's the exchange they're looking for. So go in and provide $280,000 worth of value. Then tell me they won't pay you 120 grand.
Absolutely. Perfect. Andrew, tell us a little bit about the website, the little videos, big products, right?
Big results, little videos, big results.com. I was amazed it was available. No, little videos, big results is a business development course that we put together that goes over everything from scripting to how to make an ad planner for your unique business. It involves private coaching at the beginning to help you pick exactly the ads that you should go make and use our script algorithm creator, so you have all your scripts and you know exactly how to go make them. It includes more coaching at the end of your first 5 videos so you can make sure that things are going well and that they're working, private coaching. And it goes over everything from how to make non-video assets like boomerangs and screen recording videos to how to make all the formats work, to how to make ads, how to write ads, how to write testimonial ads. We go over how to do like sitting testimonials that are edited, how to do stand-up ones. So it's a whole business development kit of these are the videos your business needs. These are the techniques you're going to need to make these videos. Right now, drum roll for listeners of the podcast, if you guys go to Little Videos, Big Results, it's in beta test with our clients right now. It's not actually available, but you'll get a free download of the first part of the series, which is how to make all the videos with a cell phone. Pretty much everything I was kind of alluding to here, but without all the background. And you'll get that right now as a free download, and you'll get 2 weeks with the complete course when it launches in November. You get 2 full weeks to peruse around in there and find whatever value you can for free. So there's no cost, no credit card, nothing. It's a completely free download. Little videos, bigresults.com.
That's awesome. To everybody listening, check the show notes, check the action bullets. It will be linked there. You should definitely go pick it up. When this drops, you're going to have about 4 weeks, maybe 5. So definitely jump on that. Make sure that you jump in because there is a ton of value. If you didn't get all the value in this podcast, you can go back and listen again, but definitely go pick up the course. I think you will be very well rewarded, very happy with it. Andrew, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing so much information with us. It's been absolutely amazing.
Steve, thank you. My grandma had that same, is that a credenza? What is that behind you? She had the same thing. It's like a taste of home right now. You're making me feel all kinds of comfortable. Yeah, no, with the triangle. Nope, this one, the wood one.
Gotcha. So that's, it's been sitting there. It holds up books nicely.
It's a nice piece. It's like comfort food.
Awesome. All right. To everybody else, until next time, take action, change lives, and make money. We'll see you soon.